August 14th or maybe 15th here in Southern Ontario, it doesn't matter. Before moving in part back to Canada and Carney's cabinet ministers and the WEF penetration, I just want to cover the NGOs again, the non-governmental organizations that the WEF controls. This argument that the WEF is just a benign group of power players who get together in Davos every year to share the finest Peruvian flake and perpetuate democracy. Anyways, let's get into it. The World Bank, assets of $300 billion US, headed by A.J. Banga, who sat on the foundation board at the World Economic Forum for like, I don't know, a decade or more. He probably still does, but it's hard to say. The foundation board is so secretive. So we have the World Bank headed by a WEF member. The European Central Bank with $8 trillion US in assets, headed by Christine Lagarde. Assuming I'm pronouncing her name right, Christine Lagarde. She sits on the WEF's board of trustees. And before heading the European Central Bank, she headed the IMF, which we'll come to in a moment. It is speculated that Christine Lagarde is going to take over Klaus Schwab's role as leader of the World Economic Forum. So she'd give up her management of $8 trillion US assets at the European Central Bank to head the WEF. It's a statement in that, isn't there? I think there is. The IMF, the International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva, she sits and has for a long time on the board of trustees at the World Economic Forum. Now the IMF, it's kind of hard to, well, their finances are complex. Public sector assets, whatever they may be, 103 trillion US, but again, the complexities of who owes the money and who they control, think Sri Lanka, well, it's a whole nother matter. The World Health Organization, the not Dr. Tedros, I think he's on the foundation board or the board of trustees. Sorry, I got about 12 different notebooks. I was carrying the wrong one with me. But anyways, he's a WEF member. He heads the World Health Organization, and just, well, the WHO is infested with WEF members. Dishonorable mention to Canada's Dr. Tam as a WEF member. I've covered that before. Now we move to the UN, the United Nations, which is openly partnered with the World Economic Forum. To say they're partnered, actually, they are one and the same. Headed by Antonio Guterres, who sat on the foundation board with Mark Carney for a decade before assuming he left the board to head the United Nations. Interestingly enough, in 2022, the total revenue of the UN system was $74.3 billion, and Antonio Guterres, what a villain's name, highlighted a liquidity crisis in 2024 with a year-end arrears of $859 million. Be a shame if they went broke, wouldn't it? Yeah, that'd be a shame. This one disconcerts me. NATO, the head of NATO is Mark Rutte, the former Prime Minister of the Netherlands until basically the farmers' revolt ran him out. Oversimplification, but anyways, Mark Rutte, career politician, classmate of Justin Trudeau's from 2005, Young Global Leaders Program, 2005. What qualifications does he have to head NATO? And that it's a WEF member heading NATO? I find that pretty disconcerting. We'll finish up with actually a governmental organization, which I keep hammering away at, is the European Union Commission in Brussels, which holds powerful sway over the EU member countries regarding things like money, migration, trade, and their Greta Greenberg weather initiatives and what they're going to spend big money on. Yeah, Ursula von der Leyen heads that. She sits on the board of trustees at the World Economic Forum. So, when somebody says to you if they should, well, the WEF doesn't really control anything. What don't they control? And that's not even getting into the governments that they had, like Carney in Canada, Starmer in the UK, Macron in France, formerly Rutte in the Netherlands. We have 3 generations of chancellors now in Germany, Spain. What's that guy's name? Oh, I can never remember. He's a WEF member, anyways. The leader of Spain. Doesn't matter what his name is. Sanchez something. Yeah, the WEF controls a lot of stuff. Anyways, back to Canada next time.